What's up?
Hi, Mark.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
Good.
Excellent.
We had an interesting convo yesterday, you
We
and I.
did.
Yeah.
I was hoping we could continue it just a tiny bit here.
Okay.
So we were talking about Western versus Eastern philosophy and Stoicism. My question is for you, Mark, not Lucifer, although you could answer for both. I'm sure both would have excellent opinions. What do you think...
Let me just say at the outset, Lucifer's opinions are my opinions.
Fantastic.
And vice versa.
I feel like that's very fitting.
I don't know who gets the worst end of the deal on that, though. Okay, go ahead.
Awesome. I'm Lacey, by the way.
Hey, Lacey.
We didn't officially meet. What do you think the biggest global societal issue is in terms of people's attitudes and promotions of ideas today, like philosophically, and which philosophical belief do you think would solve that the best?
You are going to get me in so much trouble.
Yes! Good. We love you. Safe, warm place.
You don't know what's happening on Twitter right now. It's funny because fans who like me actually screenshot a lot of this stuff and send them to me. Like, look what's happening here. I don't know that I want to look what's happening there. I think postmodernism is destroying the world, and I think its moral sidekick altruism is doing the same. And I think the antidote to that is rational philosophy. And the moral antidote, rational egoism. That would be my thumbnail sketch. But we can talk in more detail about it later. I don't know that anybody here would be interested in that kind of thing. But if you are, we can.
That would be an amazing conversation, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think this idea that your conscious is primary and it makes reality is killing people. I think the idea that your feelings are tools of cognition, that you're told by everybody, every artist, every cultural icon, your teachers, that you have to make the most important decisions in your life, from the vocation you want to pursue to the love that you want to have, with your heart, with your emotions, which are just sort of a compilation of all your experiences. They're not necessarily guides. They can be, if you've integrated information well, but they often lead us astray, right? Because they're not tools of cognition. It's your mind that is your tool of cognition. And we have disrespected the mind, and kicked it aside, except when we need to use it to build things, for generations after generation after generation after generation. I think we're beginning to see the fruits of anti-intellectuality over the last several decades, probably the last 5 decades. It's really reaching its peak now in the inability to have dialogue with one another, to converse and exchange ideas without resorting to violence. Because when you have thrown reason out the window, you only have one other means of dealing with your fellow human being: violence. You either persuade or you force. Those are the two ways people deal with each other all throughout history. I'd rather be persuaded. What about you?
Yep.
And the ages that gave us the most progress were ages of reason. The Enlightenment, the age of reason, the Renaissance gave us the most artistic progress, the most cultural progress, political, socio-political, ethical progress came from reason. And I think we're sort of stumbling into a second dark age if we're not careful. And it's possible to lose everything, folks. It's not like once you've established a certain level of culture, it stays there.
No.
You know the Greeks lost language, lost culture for 400 or 500 years before they reacquired it again. And European civilization did the same. They turned internally. They devoted the mind to monastic, scholastic pursuits, and no progress, informationally or scientifically, was really made until Aristotle was brought back into the intellectual sphere. So we can't rest on our laurels and think we're in the 21st century and everything that we've worked and accumulated over the past 10,000 years will just stay here. It won't. Not if we become savages and deal with each other through violence.
What is your definition of a savage?
A savage is a person who deals with others through violence, who attempts to change minds through violence and brutality.
Instead of persuasion?
Instead of persuasion. Civilization means nothing, folks, if it's not the marginalization of brute force. Right? That's what the Bill of Rights was intended to do, marginalize brute force, so that you, each and every one of you, could live your life as you choose without the interference of the violence of another. I think that's a massively fundamental concept that I think we're still grappling with today in the 21st century. I don't know that that I understand it, or that any of us, even the thinkers who devote hours and hours and hours and years and years and years of time to this, fully understand it. That's just my thought.
I love your brain. Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Mark.
Thank you. Bonjour.
Before I ask my question, I just wanted to say Ms. Fruit also probably really liked the musical Heathers.
Heather, sure. Okay.
There's a lot of murder. But the question was, since I'm sorry, but like Castiel's my favorite character. Has Lucifer?
I didn't hear that.
Okay, you hear what you want. But did Lucifer always think of Castiel as just like a dumb little nerd, or did he actually have like